we have a tendency to be kind and loving towards everyone else in the world, and we forget to love ourselves. So we have three-dimensional existence. One is the physiological, where you have needs of the body. You have to eat, take care of this body, you have to exercise, you have to do yoga, stretch, wash your hair, shampoo your hair, take care of this body. And there's a whole care package on just the physiological part of it that I don't want to get into detail, because I would like you to have a broad understanding of what is self-love. And then the second part of our dimension of our existence is our psychology, our mind. How to take care of our mind and be friends with it and work with it and not against it. And the most important thing is, don't fight your mind, because you're not going to win. So we have to see how to work with the mind. And then finally, we have to see how to be engaged with our heart, which is the spiritual aspect, the spiritual dimension of our existence. So this is understanding how to love yourself on three different dimensions. If you have to give your body some rest because you're overworking or you're tired, your body will tell you that, hey, you need to give yourself some rest. And if you don't give your body some rest, body will throw a fit and you'll be sick. So on the physiological level, we have divided this into even more three different categories. We have eating and drinking. So being selective, even in eating, we have divided into four different categories. But we're not going to go that, we're not going to break it down too much, but we want to at least point out that eating and drinking is a big important part of self-care. Eating the right food at the right time. And the second dimension of the physiological love of the physiology, is, are you giving your body enough sleep? Most of us, we will sacrifice everything and try and push our sleeping limits beyond the boundaries, so we don't get enough sleep. Sleep is one of the most powerful forms of yoga. It's called Yoga Nidra. It is a time when 33 trillion cells in your body gets to take a break and rejuvenate themselves. It's extremely vital. They say, and there's a lot of research being done, the mental health crisis in the world, it's primarily due to the fact that we do not get enough sleep, and we are depriving ourselves from getting sleep. And it is in Ayurveda so beautifully explained that when you go to bed, when the sun sets, every hour, the different organs in the body takes their time to process all the food and all the substance that you have put into this body, and it gets to filter and clean itself out. So therefore, it is very, very important to sleep. And the third dimension of self-care on a physiological level is exercise and breathing, which go together. So many people think, oh, I don't have to exercise. I'm not fat. I'm all skinny. I don't need to exercise. I'm okay. And sometimes people will just focus on physical exercise and not worry about the breath. Some people will just do breath work and not do the physical exercise. So it has to be a combined exercise of breathing and exercising. Like jogging is also breath work involved. But to understand that it is a comprehensive approach, not one or the other. And then We have in the exercise, you will notice that even just going out and jogging every single day, or going for a walk every day, or doing your sun salutations, or some types of yoga, and some breathing exercise, this is something that is part of self-care. Many people think that self-care means to get a pedicure, manicure, get your hair shampooed, get a massage, get, I'm not sure. There's so many different external physiological things that you can do that's very skin deep, and is not holistic. Don't get me wrong, massages and doing panchakarma, this kind of, it is self-care, but it is not the only thing that is self-care. So does that make sense? The three practical steps on how to love yourself. Because being present with every one of these actions, where you're mindful and conscious, that is called self-love on a physiological level. So on an emotional level, on the mental level, where we learn to take care and work with the mind. So the functions of the mind is thinking, feeling, and willing. Functions of the mind, thinking, feeling, and willing. So how do we practice self-care on an emotional level? One of the most important things is, number one, is not to fight and resist. We are in a practice where we're not here to resist, we're not here to fight, we're not here to push back. What we're here to do is to become an observer of our thinking, of our thoughts, and observe our feelings, and observe our desires. So when we practice this thinking, feeling, willing as an observer of those emotions, and not giving it a designation, and not giving it and not judging it based on the designations that we give, feelings and emotions. So observing means you do not give a designation, you do not give it a name, you do not judge for what it is. And you practice how those thoughts and emotions, to observe them without any feeling of guilt. So it's very important. We have to see how to make the mind our friend and not an enemy that we fight against. So 3 ways how to practice self-love, and that is through acknowledging the 3 functions of the mind and being an observer and not giving it a designation, number 2. And you are free from judging and feeling guilty of those thoughts and emotions. So to make friends with the mind, our thinking, feeling, and willing, those are the acknowledgement of the 3 functions of the mind. And the second point is that we first is acknowledgement, and then we bring our awareness to these 3 functions of the mind. And the third is not to judge and give designations to them. Because you may think, I want to have an ice cream. But then immediately you're like, no, 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 Veda, you're a bad person. You should not be taking ice cream. It's not good for you. You know it's really bad. You're making a very bad decision. You're destroying your health. Maybe you'll go to hell because it's not offered to God. Maybe like you just beat yourself down because a simple desire that you have had. Okay, does this make sense? How to love on an emotional, mental level? 3 steps. No questions? Any doubts? Okay. Then let's address the heart. How to address self-love on the level of the heart. Heart is the seat of the divine. Heart is the place of purity, serenity. And so therefore, to address how to learn to love the heart, the first thing we have to do is we have to practice gratitude. We learn to count the blessings that we have every single day and genuinely from the heart, acknowledging that and feeling those emotions of gratitude. And gratitude for everything that you have. And you start with the beautiful bodies that we have, right? We have arms, legs, and eyes, and nose, and ears, and mouth, and we have an intelligence. We have to learn to be grateful that most people in this world do not have that. There are many, many people who do not have what we have. When was the last time you looked at yourself in the mirror and you felt proud and you complimented yourself for the way you look? Your eyes, your face, your hands, and your legs. These are very, very important recognition. And when you recognize that these are very, very powerfully important part of your existence, you will naturally learn to become grateful for things that you have. If you look at, there's a great saint by the name of Dhruva, young 5-year-old boy. He is offering prayers. Yontaf pravesha mamavacham imam prashuptam. He says, my dear divine, my dear Lord, I am so grateful that because of your presence, my hands are moving, my feet is moving, I'm able to see with my eyes, and I'm able to speak with my mouth. So he's offering these deep prayers of gratitude
Dans les
for
textes du
things
Vieux,
that are very tangible and practical. Who was the last time when you looked in front of a mirror and you looked at yourself and you thought, my dear Lord, God, whoever is my creator, I'm so grateful that you have made this beautiful person. Who has done that in their life? Raise your hand. Many of you don't. Who does it every day? Yes, these are very important self-love techniques that Srimad Bhagavatam, one of the greatest yoga texts, is teaching us, because Prahlad Maharaj is teaching us how to express this self-love. So number one, right? This is how to love yourself first. And the second step is learn to practice this gratitude. I would say not just tell yourself, write it down. And the second part is to look at our environment, our surroundings. You'll be surprised to know there is so much beauty around your immediate surrounding. You have family, friends, you have home, you may have a pet, you may have car, you may have a bicycle. You have so many things around your environment that is showing you that somehow your existence is covered with so many layers of amenities that is provided to you.
c'est
Have a
vrai.
better experience in life. Who has family? Raise your hand. Who has friends? Raise your hand. Who has pets? Raise your hand. Who has a home to sleep in? Raise your hand. So beautiful, right? All of us are so fortunate. When was the last time we offered gratitude for this, our friends? When was the last time you actually called and say, Emily, I just want to tell you that your friendship means everything in my life. And I thank you so much for taking birth in this world and being in my life. Maybe Emily will freak out. Oh my God, this person, Veda, called me without asking me for something. He is actually saying something nice about me. Because most people call others when they need something or when they just want to vent. Who does that? When was the last time? Raise your hand if in the last 1 year you just randomly called someone in your inner circle and offered them how much you love them and you feel their presence in their life in the 1 year. Oh, nice. In the last 6 months. in the last 4 months, in the last 3 months, in the last 1 month? Oh, so nice. In the last 1 week? Who called someone today?
Yesterday for me.
Oh, what an incredible Rasala, good man. Krista, so nice. You will be surprised that self-love, by offering gratitude to the people around you, your heart will be filled with so much love. Why is that so weird? It's actually not so weird, because the minute you share love with others, the universe is showering you with 10 times more love. So this is very important part of self-care and self-love, is to appreciate and offer gratitude to the ones that are close around to you. And then the third dimension of self-love on the heart level is understanding that everything in this world is very interconnected, and the divine hand is there through so many different ways. The air that we breathe, the light that is provided to us, all the trees that are providing fresh oxygen, the earth that provides so much nutritious fruit, trees, and flowers. So there is a universal contribution that is constant in our lives. And there's that feeling of gratitude. God, I don't know who you are, whoever you are. And if you know who your God is, or who that divine person is to you, you offer that loving gratitude from your heart. And if you don't have a God, just offer to the divine, whoever it may be. So this is 3 different ways to show love to the heart,
Donc ça,
because
ce sont
heart is the seed of love and gratitude is the expression of love. So gratitude is a process.
la
It is
gratitude.
not an end in itself. In America, we always say, thank you, excuse me, sir, please. And we are polite and we ask questions, but we never really, get into depth of what is it that we're asking. So if we just keep practicing from the mind, even if it is mental, it is still beautiful. It is the process. And eventually it'll become intellectual. You're already at an intellectual level, which is great. And then eventually, practicing this, you will start to feel those words. How would you feel it? Because the person you say it to, they are feeling the words, because the words carry energy. Even if you don't feel it, they will feel it, and their feeling energy will impact you. Many times people think that the teacher is lifting up the students, but if you realize what's happening is, if someone is a very sincere, loving student, they're lifting up the teacher as well, with that sincere eagerness to learn and to grow. That energy alone also helps to lift the teacher up. So it's a very, very, it's a circular motion. It is not, top down or bottom up. It's not vertical or horizontal. It's a very circular motion. We have to go very easy on ourselves, very easy, not too hard. Nothing is cut and dry. You will notice that all sages, all yogis, all teachers who are evolved, they live a life of gratitude. And that is why they're evolved. If every minute, every second, every action, every thought is filled with gratitude, your consciousness just goes up so high that no one can drag you down. This Saint Haridas Thakur, he's being whipped, and his frail, skinny body is being dragged through the streets in 22 marketplaces. And they're whipping him to death. And he is offering gratitude and praying for the people that are whipping him to death. He's praying for the people who are trying to kill him. And he is offering them gratitude and inquiring about their well-being as they drag his frail body through 22 marketplaces. He's praying, my dear Lord, you are so kind and you're so loving that you have given me this human body, and I have not fully engaged in your service. And these people are reminding me the frailties of human life. These people are doing such an incredible service. Please, my dear Lord, forgive them. And he's praying like this. So, of course, it's a very high level of consciousness, because the sages, he lived a life of gratitude till even while they're beating him to death. And guess what?
Et vous savez quoi?
Because of his deepest sincere gratitude is so intense and sincere, that is an automatic connection to the divine, and the divine fully shields him and covers him from any kind of physical harm or injury. So please, I urge you to learn to love your bodies, learn to have the patience and the tolerance to be an observer and work with the mind and not against the mind. And then learn to love your heart, love the beauty that you have, and offer gratitude for all the incredible things and the gifts that we have in our lives.